Hello, I'm Laura. It's Thursday, June 25th, 2026, and these are today's Heartlines. Our theme for Heartlines this week is letting in the light, and today we are letting in the light by being cool. It is so important to be cool right now. Throughout the northern hemisphere, higher than normal temperatures are being experienced. Triple-digit Fahrenheit temperatures are happening in the eastern United States. And in Europe, temperatures that are 10 to 20 degrees Celsius above normal have been occurring, and only 20% of European households even have air conditioning because Europe hasn't needed that kind of mitigation of heat, perhaps until recently. In fact, researchers quantified the Universal Thermal Climate Index, or the UTCI, which measures temperature, humidity, wind speed, and solar radiation and its effect on the human body. And what they found is that extreme heat stress now occurs 2.5 times more often in Europe and South America, twice as often in North America, and 1.8 and 1.7 and 1.2 times more often in Africa, the islands of the Pacific, and Asia, respectively. And the increased instances of heat have had a detrimental effect on human population. In fact, Rebecca Emerton, senior scientist for the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts, said, "Heat is a leading cause of weather-related mortality at the global scale." So what can we do to be cool? Well, we can look to our global organizations and see what they are doing and how that corresponds with something we can do. The World Health Organization and the World Meteorological Organization, for example, have put forth a Global Heat Health Information Network, GHHIN, to share case studies and provide a standard for a set of tools that governments can use to help people mitigate the heat. In the same way, we can share information about what we know about climate change and global warming and what we can do about it. Simple things like sharing rides to work and to shop, and using less electricity, and perhaps growing a few vegetables instead of depending on corporate farms. Another thing is that the national and state level rollouts of action plans have been happening in Europe and in the US. Berlin has put out 72 measures, including public cooling spaces and mapping those spaces. In the United States, California and Arizona have instituted comprehensive extreme heat action plans. And what we can do, like these organizations, is plan our outdoor activities. Make a plan at a time of day that is not quite so hot, and also have a plan for cooling off once we've been outside. At city level initiatives, we see a deploying of insurance for informal workers in India, and also for cooling rooftops in South Asia and Europe. And what we can do is set up spaces for ourselves to cool off when we've been working or active outside. When I lived in Bahrain, where it got extremely hot, I used to enjoy a good jacuzzi. Not a hot tub, but a cool tub with those wonderful massaging bubbles. perhaps a cooling tub or a corner of the house where we can share the movement that happens in the air from a fan or from air conditioning. We can have ways of cooling ourselves off and keeping ourselves hydrated by drinking plenty of water. Finally, there are the United Nations directives. The Secretary General has an ongoing call to action for extreme heat throughout the globe, pushing member states to integrate heat illness prevention and to bring it into local, civic, and medical systems. And so what we can do to support this from our individual place is we can support those organizations, those civic and medical organizations like the American Red Cross or the Salvation Army, or something that calls to our hearts, that is helping others in times of extreme heat. So we can be cool in the midst of all this heat, and we can open ourselves up to that possibility by cooling down within ourselves, becoming calm and cool as we connect with the rest of our world. And we can do so in a moment of silent contemplation. So let's take a deep breath and close our eyes and focus on this idea. I am cool, calm, and connected with my world. I am cool, calm, and connected with my world. And so it is. So when we discover ways to keep ourselves cool, both within and without, we can share them with others, and we can plan to keep them in place. And we can set up those little cooling retreat places in our own homes. And we can contribute to the organizations that help others stay cool. In this way, we are cool, calm, and connected with our world. Have a wonderful day.